Bowling balls are so expensive. What is a better way to get cheap bowling balls that you know are going to be able to stand the test of time, at least for a couple of years? One of the most common ways and one of the largest marketplaces of bowling balls is the used bowling ball market. People sell their old bowling balls all the time online, locally, to their pro shops, whatever it may be. And that can sometimes be a fantastic option for you if you don't want to buy that brand new ball for $200+. Now, used bowling balls do come with a pretty big risk. We're going to talk about those in just a second and what you should look for if you're trying to buy used bowling balls, because I am one who is notorious for buying a ton of used bowling balls. So if you enjoy what we do here, though, make sure to drop a subscription. Best way to help out the channel, best way to support the channel. But let's start talking about used bowling balls. Now, there are a lot of places you can buy used balls on the market. You can go to your local pro shop, which will sometimes buy them or get free ones from bowlers, plug the balls and put them on their shelves. You can sometimes get them from friends where they just give you or sell you some of their old equipment that they just don't like that much. The other biggest place, the largest one and one of the best ones in my opinion, is Facebook Marketplace and eBay. Now, let's start with Facebook. Facebook, there are a ton of used bowling ball groups. You have Storm and Rotogrip bowling balls for sale. You have Racks on Rack. You have Motive bowling balls for sale. You have a group called 14 and 15 pound used equipment for sale. They're not very creative with the names, but that's okay. There are a ton of places where people are selling all of their used equipment for very, very low prices. Generally, these bowling balls are $120 or cheaper for the ball themselves. This is a fantastic price compared to that $200 mark you get if you try purchasing an Ion Max or a big strong ball from any of the main companies. Now, the biggest issue with these bowling balls is how many games were thrown on them before, and then how did they drill them? The biggest thing you need to remember is when you buy that used bowling ball, you need to bring it to your shop and get it plugged for your hand. My biggest warning, do not throw equipment that is not drilled for your specs. That is going to give you injuries. That is going to lower your speed, lower your rev rate, lower your consistency, just make everything worse. Make sure all your equipment is fit to your hand. So when you buy this used stuff, you do need to end up plugging it and re-drilling it, which can cost a little bit of money. You have to remember that usually can cost 50 to 75-ish dollars. So incorporate that into the price when you're buying a used ball. The other one is when you plug a bowling ball, it is more susceptible to cracking no matter what, no matter how you plug it, where you plug it, anything like that. So if you're buying a ball, my biggest rec is that you do not buy a ball that has already been plugged before. If a ball has been plugged before, then re-drill to this new person's hand, what you're going to have to do is re-plug it, re-drill it again. There's going to be a ton of plug in that bowling ball. The odds of that ball cracking is going to be much, much higher. Then it's just not really worth it because then you're putting in this $140 investment and then it ends up cracking on you very soon and that ball ends up going in a dumpster somewhere. But with that, let's talk about some of the biggest pros when buying a used bowling ball. And my biggest one, why I do it so often, is to try out new bowling balls. If you want to try a ball from a different company, or you want to try a different layout on a ball, or you found a really cool ball that you've always wanted, but you've never wanted to pull the trigger on actually spending full price for it, then this is the best thing to do. For example, this is how I tried out my Brunswick Vaporize. I got a Vaporize for about $50, $60 on a used market, and I love that ball. I'm probably going to buy an actual good one, one that hasn't been drilled before, sometime before it gets discontinued because I really like that bowling ball. I wouldn't have known that I really like that bowling ball without actually buying a used one. Now, overall, the used one probably cost me a little over $100 after drilling and plugging and all that jazz. But in my opinion, that's been worth it. I've gotten about 50 to 70 games on it already. It saved me in a couple tournaments. It saved me look really good in league for a while. So this is a great way to try out that different equipment. Especially if you're a Brunswick fan and you want to try out a Storm ball for the first time, this is a good way to do it without putting in that full investment, or vice versa. Now, I will admit Motive bowling balls are very, very difficult to find on the used market. People snatch those up immediately. Motive fans like to buy their stuff as soon as they see any Motive ball on sale. It's going to be very, very hard to find. I don't think I've ever found a Motive ball for sale, and I've actually been able to purchase one on any of the used marketplaces, which is kind of crazy at the end of the day. But this is a great way to try out that new company that you've never tried before and you really just want to. Or if you're able to find an old Phase 2, you're able to find a Game Breaker 5, you're able to find some of those goat balls that you haven't been able to get, you don't really warrant spending $200+ on. This can be a great option. So let's talk about some prices. What is a good price for a bowling ball? Now, after shipping and handling, for a ball that it only has been drilled once, what I recommend is never going over $100 unless it's like a gem of some kind, not the actual gem bowling ball, but like an IQ Tour Gold or some older bowling balls that you really want. If you have something that is very normal right now, say an IQ Tour, and someone's trying to sell it for $120, but it's already been drilled, ignore that bowling ball. My max usually is $100 after shipping. Now, shipping a bowling ball can usually cost between $15 and $20, so you have to warrant that in there. But then I don't recommend going higher than that because after the drilling, after the plugging, ends up getting close to a normal price. But you are able to find some really good $30, $40, $50 sales out there too for people who just want to get rid of stuff. So I always recommend maximum of $100. And then I'd recommend scrolling through these pages to see what are people actually selling these for and what are posts that have comments that say, hey, this is way too overpriced. Avoid those, then look for things that are a little bit cheaper. So let's wrap a bow on all of this talk. First of all, used bowling balls can be a great way to try out other equipment. This is a great testing method if you want to try a ball or be able to buy a new one in the future. Two, the best places to find used bowling balls are your local pro shops, your friends, otherwise Facebook Marketplace and Facebook groups, and eBay. Those are always the best spots. Always watch out. I'd recommend not buying bowling balls that have already been plugged. Buy balls that are drilled but not already plugged once. That ends up causing the issues of a ball potentially cracking. The other one is I say set a max of $100 on a bowling ball. If you're spending more than that on a used ball, it might not be worth it after plugging and re-drilling it. Then just buy the new one instead. But with that, that is everything we have on used bowling balls. Let me know down below, do you buy used bowling balls or do you say, screw it, and I only buy new bowling balls? If you want more tips and tricks on how to find these best deals and where to find them, or you want the links to any of these Facebook groups, please let me know down below in the comments. I will gladly give these out. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you on the next one.